That's very hard. is not okay. My sunburn is like already iffy and I don't need more.
Oh, good.
This is bad. I think I'm taking a shower after this. So I'm not leaving the door till 5:30. So yeah, time. Like you just look embarrassed. I couldn't get my suit.
You're such a constant state of chill.
Just like all speed.
Gotta landmark it. It's right, yeah, it's right across the tracks. Oh, it's one I can tell you about. That's really cute. Oh, it's right. I didn't know that.
I know.
It's your section of the fine.
I know. I had my fever like this before and I was burned, so I had to like bring it.
Mostly expired.
But still good.
Yeah, because it's mostly boxed. And every once in a while they get in really nice stuff.
It's only one.
They have a flex pack. 130?
I keep making stuff.
Yeah. It's freaking 1:30.
I'm going to a place in St. Cloud called last time I was there, I was with her.
It's so windy, so she's like,
Stuff I could buy. It is great.
Right? You guys didn't expect all the weird stuff on the outsides, did you?
I didn't really know. I thought.
yeah, I've never played this before. So I'm like,
This is a temperature.
I know.
I've never seen this.
Woo! I want to go in the pool.
I almost said a lot of electric music and I don't know what that means.
That's what I should do. Rave time. It's my name hanging out with friends. Monday is tomorrow's Mother's Day.
Yeah, mine too. Except mine says start here at the rest.
No, tomorrow's
Well,
Mother's
rest
Day.
for a bar and then start right away.
I haven't gotten my mom anything yet. I know, it's sad. I think I'm just
Meanwhile,
gonna
everyone will be
make
up
her
here.
card
Yeah.
and get her.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I did last year and she liked that.
We'll just start the actual march.
They get like cornflower.
Right.
And I got it last year.
I also have two, so Simon and feels like he did that our first year, but he hasn't like the second year.
There's a bunch of like the stuff to use.
Because I guess it's not really
For set up gas and all that. So I got one for Mary's Flowers. At the time we still had Mary's Flowers. But it kind of shut down. It was going to shut down, so I couldn't use it. So I was like, oh, this is worth it, you know? So my dad bought them and she really sucked though because Mary's Flowers was awesome. And it was just like
a dozen times we've been sitting up here.
Stop.
That's what I should have done.
we have some ice.
How do you like mine, Dad? The thing about Blake is that no one wants to live there.
seems like a lot of
I
fun.
wrote this aesthetic blog of making men. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Because I was sitting open in a chair.
Probably made up
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I would definitely say
In our room at the time, just sitting there, we just hear a loud crash.
I tried to ask Brad if he got his hat, so I asked him, but he didn't hear me.
A bit of Matting Winds on the other side.
Oh, I just let Anthony fidget with it.
But I think that's also because it's sense being in here, and this is
Safe.
whatever, I'm gonna take a shower anyways.
Says the level 4.
I need to go grab my shorts now. I forgot to grab shorts.
Yeah, that's what I
I
like.
like my bag and stuff.
I hide in my room from everyone. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you around campus ever, except for like
Blue sweat swimsuit top.
like for the longest time I didn't even know what your major was. But then I was like, gonna do that. I hide, yeah, from the world. That's okay.
The world is not a fun place.
Just gotta
It's
chill.
a thing to hide from all the time. Or, you know, almost all the time.
I burn.
No. There are no reason majors. What do you think?
On the, in
They
that
all-
bag on
wait.
the chairs.
Oh, really? Like the freshman retention rate for music majors is small. That's because it's way too short for a major. It is. That's why I quit right away, because I used to be a double major in music, and I said no. I quit immediately. You weren't even in music theory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is fun.
We're qualified.
Yes, like bring on the
Fall
wind.
off of stage.
Bring it
Just
on.
have them walk down.
Look at all this commencement folders. Open it up. That was so good. That felt really good. Felt really good.
Alrighty. Showtime?
Shoot.
Thank you. Please stand and close your umbrellas for the national anthem.
What so
Regent Lucas, Robbie Norman, faculty and staff members, University of Minnesota Morris students and graduates, and all the families and friends who have come to celebrate with us today. I'm Michelle Behr, Chancellor here, and it's my great privilege to welcome you to the 2017 commencement ceremonies, UMM's 54th graduation ceremony for our outstanding University of Minnesota Morris graduates. I want to begin by thanking a number of people who've contributed to our celebration today. First, Zoey Cook for her beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, and UMM's Symphonic Winds under the direction of Professor Simon Tillier, as well as the UMM Concert Choir under the direction of Professor Bradley Miller. I want to acknowledge and express my appreciation for our student marshals, Salvi Alam and Carissa Sheck, our student color guards, Fiona Wu and Austin Aguilera, our faculty marshal, Professor Pirana Garavazo, and finally, our mace bearer, Associate Professor Rebecca Dean. Thanks also to our Sodexo workers for their tireless efforts to prepare and serve and satisfy our appetites. To Dave Israel Swenson for organizing our volunteers, and to all of you who volunteered your time on this Saturday afternoon to ensure that our commencement ceremony does justice to honoring our graduates. And I hope you will thank Karen Ellis in person when you see her. She is our behind-the-scenes planner and organizer, ably assisted by Casey Averbach and Carrie Grissing, not only for the work for preparing for this event, but for the many others which preceded it. Please join me in thanking all of these participants for their contributions to our ceremony today. We couldn't have asked for a more gorgeous Minnesota spring day. But for those of you in the audience, if the heat becomes an issue for you, we are live streaming the event in Edson Auditorium, located behind you in the Student Center. Please feel free to relocate into the auditorium to watch the ceremony if necessary. Graduates, congratulations to you on being here in this place at this commencement ceremony. That you are among the graduates being honored today is testament to your hard work and dedication and perseverance. These are all attributes that will serve you as well once you leave as they did while you were here at UMM. I celebrate your accomplishments, and everyone here joins me in celebrating them as well. We are especially fortunate to welcome Regent Peggy Lucas as our commencement regent today. She is making her second visit to the Morris campus for this happy occasion, and we were delighted when she accepted our invitation to join us again for this important event. Elected to the board in 2013 and a resident of Minneapolis, she represents Minnesota's 5th district on the board. Regent Lucas is a founder and partner in Brighton Development, a housing development company known for its small inner-city infill projects and historic preservation. She is a 2-time graduate of the University of Minnesota, having earned both Bachelor of Arts and Master of Social Work degrees. She is an active community volunteer, having served 18 years on the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Commission and currently on the board of ArtSpace. Her previous university activities include the University of Minnesota Foundation Board of Trustees, the Humphrey School Dean's Advisory Council, and Women's Intercollegiate Athletics Advisory Council. She is joined here today by her husband, and the two of them served for 2 years in the Peace Corps in Iran. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome Regent Lucas to our campus today and to the podium now.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and an honor for me to represent the Board of Regents here today. My favorite duties as a Regent member are 2. First, convocation, and second, graduation. Convocation because it's the beginning of the journey, and graduation because it's the end of one journey and the beginning of the next. And I look at all of you and I think of all that's been invested in you by your friends, your teachers, your parents, your grandparents, and all the hopes and dreams that you have fulfilled. So really, really congratulate all of you for that. This is as was mentioned, this is my second time to be here at the graduation, and last year I became so interested in the history of this place that this morning my husband and I had the privilege really, of spending an hour sitting in the shade with your professor, Stephen Gross, to learn more about your early history. It is something I intend to learn more and more and more about. I always tell people when I'm talking about the University of Minnesota system, we talk about Morris and what a special place it is. And the word that keeps coming back is the word gem. People say it's a gem of a place. Morris truly, truly is a gem, and I congratulate you on your graduation from this very special place.
Each year, UMM faculty and graduating seniors select a student to receive the Curtis H. Larson Award. This award was established to honor UMM's first senior class speaker. It is my pleasure to present this year's recipient of the Curtis H. Larson Award and the 2017 Student Commencement Speaker, Katherine Ledermann. Katie is from Mahtomedi, Minnesota, and has majored in environmental studies and management. She currently serves as student body president and has been involved with numerous campus sustainability efforts, the Organic Gardening Club, and other campus organizations. Despite, or perhaps because of her active role on campus, Katie has shown that it's possible to be successful academically while stepping up to encourage and inspire others to commit themselves to fulfilling their own social and civic responsibilities. It is my great pleasure to welcome Katherine Ledermann to the podium.
Thank you, Chancellor Behr, Regent Lucas, and members of the Platform Party for being here today to celebrate with us all. Thank you to all the amazing faculty and staff here who have made this day possible. Thank you to our family and friends who traveled here today and continue to support us like you've done our whole lives. And finally, thank you to you all, the University of Minnesota Morris, class of 2017. Congratulations, everyone. We are graduating college. It simultaneously feels like we've been here forever, and also that the time just flew by. Whether you were only here for 2 years, 4, or more, we were all here together in Morris, this small town on the prairie, being over-involved, not sleeping enough, studying, procrastinating, basically just living a pretty typical college student life as we know it. And now our time has come to an end. I think it's important to take time to reflect on all that we have experienced in our time here, all the opportunities we have had, all the people we have met, and how much we have changed and grown. When I found out that I had been nominated and selected to give this speech today at commencement, I felt so honored and excited, but I also struggled to understand what I had to say that would do justice to this day. While I'm still not quite sure about that, I hope you're able to see yourself somewhere in this speech. This year, I had the privilege of being the Morris Campus Student Association president, otherwise known as the student body president. And along with that came the opportunity to speak to all the first-year students at New Student Orientation this past fall. I remember trying to think of what I should tell them to make them feel excited about being here for the next 4 years, what advice I should give them. As I prepared, I thought back to my own story. My college search was no easy process. I couldn't decide what I wanted in a college, and although I thought I might want to go far away from home and maybe to the mountains, I didn't know. My dad graduated from UMM, class of '87, and so I promised to never come here
because I didn't want people to think I was just following in his footsteps. That'd probably be bad. So I toured 24 colleges in 8 different states spread out all across the country. To any younger siblings out there, I wouldn't recommend this strategy. The ones I seemed to like were the ones I couldn't afford, and I realized now I was searching for something that probably didn't exist, a school that was perfect. After the 23rd school, my dad finally dragged me to visit the University of Minnesota Morris. It wasn't quite love at first sight, but I was pleasantly surprised with all that Morris had to offer, and particularly for the price it cost to attend. After the first month of being a student here, I couldn't imagine attending anywhere else. Excuse me. When I was thinking about what to tell the incoming first years, I wrestled with how to tell them that they too, however they had gotten here, had made the right decision. I didn't know how to capture all the opportunities that this place had to offer, about all the people they would meet who all had different talents and interests, and that they would become friends with them and learn from them, about all the amazing professors who would provide them with knowledge, research opportunities, mentorship, and friendship, about the 120 clubs we have on campus to have cheap fun, learn, and make friends, about the community in this small town, or about the person they would become in just a few short years. I told them there was something here for everyone. I told them about how I didn't have a garden at home because my dog always dug it up, but I found a community in organic gardening club. Or how I had never been involved with student government before, but somehow I ended up the student body president. That I had the same awesome internship for all 4 years and accomplished work I was really proud of. That I got to go sea kayaking and backpacking for a month in Alaska and try out a different university in the mountains for no added costs. That this place, the University of Minnesota Morris, provided me with experiences and friendships that I could have never imagined when I was sitting in their seat. What I also told the first years that day was that college is hard. What I didn't tell them about was all the late nights studying, the disappointing grades, the times I wanted to quit, the friends who left, or the times I struggled. No need to scare them yet. Because just like us, they would create their own path and eventually make it to these very seats we are sitting in today. They too would graduate college. The exact opportunities and struggles I experienced are unique to me, but the idea is not. We are a diverse student body with various talents and specialties, have taken advantage of different opportunities and taken different paths, and all have different goals and dreams, but we did it together. We are scientists, activists, musicians, writers, educators, and more. We have Fulbright and Udall scholars, published researchers, students accepted into master's and PhD programs across the nation, students starting careers, people who will make this world a better place. This is a small campus, but everywhere I seem to look around me, people are doing amazing things. My first year roommate sang the national anthem this afternoon. How cool is that? One of my favorite things about UMM is how engaged students are and how much appreciation there is for other people. Whether it's the hundreds of people who show up for dance ensemble or support other club fundraisers and events, the enthusiastic audiences for senior seminars and recitals, or the heartwarming standing ovation that the Muslim Student Association received this year after being announced one of 2 outstanding student organizations. People on this campus are doing amazing work, but it is almost more amazing to see it acknowledged and appreciated by fellow students. It is truly a special community and support network to be a part of and watch people grow and succeed. Just like the last few years we have spent here, the next stage in our lives will not be obvious for all of us. It will not be perfect. We won't always know what we're looking for or what the right next step will be, and heck, we might even have to apply to 24 different things before we know. But each place will be filled with lots of new, smart, talented people. People who are also still figuring out their place in this world and continuing to learn. People who will make up a community. Whether it's grad school, a job, a break, or a to be determined, I know that we will all make a big impact in the world in the days ahead. Through our liberal arts education, we have gained important skills that will aid us in these next steps and help us in our journey of lifelong learning. Even though we don't want to think about it now, all those tests, presentations, and paper will do us good someday. As we gather on the mall for one last time today as the class of 2017, I hope that you look back on all of your Morris experiences and appreciate them. Look around you. Don't forget these people. I hope you remember the little moments like Don's grilled cheese or quarter taps at the Met. And the big ones like today. I hope you appreciate the path you have taken this far, and I wish you luck on your future journey. Congratulations on this step we are all making together. We did it. Now for maybe the last thing we all do together, at least for a while, let's celebrate. Thank you.
During their junior year, UMM students are invited to submit a list of possible commencement speakers to our Functions and Awards Committee. That committee then further vets the list and submits a short list of possibilities to the Chancellor. I was pleased to learn that alumnus Robbie Norman, class of '98, agreed to join us today as our commencement speaker. Mr. Norman is the Chief Executive Officer of Minneapolis-based Thor Construction, Minnesota's largest minority-owned business. Ravi possesses more than 16 years of expertise in the areas of strategic management, organizational development, and commercial finance. His dynamic leadership style consists of an optimal mix of macro business strategy, management and organizational theory, operational execution, transparent intents, proactive communication, and measurable outcomes. Ravi has collaborated with several Fortune 500 corporations and nonprofits to develop innovative solutions to maximize diversity and inclusion within the supply chain. His corporate experience includes Norwest Bank, Wells Fargo and Company, and Highland Banks, and his formal education includes degrees in economics, business management, finance, and strategy. He is here today with his wife Amanda and their children, Richard and Selah. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Thank you very much. I promise you I didn't write that resume or bio. I want to say welcome to Regent Peggy Lucas, to Chancellor Michelle Behr, all of the Morris faculty, staff, and students, and of course to you, the graduating class of 2017. Yeah. I want you to know that I sat in those chairs almost 20 years ago, filled with inspiration and aspiration, a lot more questions than answers, and envisioning what my future would entail. My wife Amanda and I, also an alumnus of the University of Minnesota at Morris, recall our time here very fondly. Morris was a unique place in my history. It was a place where I gained a greater understanding of the common needs of all people, rural and urban, black and white, homo and heterosexual, domestic and foreign. And I also know that Bart Finzel never would have predicted that I'd be the student delivering this address in 2017. So it just goes to show you that anything is possible. And the foundation of that infinite possibility rests upon one word: hope. And in my life, I've had three pillars to that word, hope. The first pillar is a belief in God, which I universally apply as an acknowledgement of a divine order, a belief in the supernatural, and clear definitions for the words luck, mercy, and grace. The second pillar is a sense of community, which I define as when people intentionally behave like they belong together. And through that intentionality, you get words like nurturing, love, investment, and trust. And the third pillar for hope is individual will and personal responsibility. It is what you bring to the hope equation. My hope for all of you is that you will take the time to celebrate this wonderful accomplishment with your family and your friends. And in the short time that I had to talk with you, I hope to convey just a few nuggets of wisdom that you can retain as you commence this next phase of your journey. The world is yours, and the opportunities are endless. I encourage all of you to be duly inspired, aspirational, productive, innovative, and resilient in the process of reaching your full potential and maximizing those opportunities. To do this, I've tried to distill many variables into a very simple framework that you can consider as you're going on your pursuit of excellence and greatness. For those that know me well, they know that I'm following the legacy of my grandparents, John E. and Mamie S. Vaughn, who I belovingly refer to as the great philosophers. I do that because they had a unique way of making the complex seem really simple. And in that spirit, I'm going to try to convey my advice in three segments and categories: access, process orientation, and outcomes. And further translate that into a very simple acronym for successful living: sit, eat, grow. Now, in my family, that's significant because the dinner table was the center of the universe, as you probably can tell by my fine physique. So I tend to associate all opportunities metaphorically with the dinner table. And I will say to you that in order to maximize your ability to get access to opportunities, you're going to have to be invited to sit at the table. It's an acronym. The S refers to showing up. My first piece of advice to all of you is show up proactively and persistently in the creation and in the comprehension of opportunities. My partner, Richard Copeland, the owner and founder and chairman of Thor Construction, attributes 80% of his success to just showing up. The I, invest in the intangibles. Now, it doesn't matter what degree of assets that you have, cars, houses, clothes, technical gadgets, whatever they may be. They all pale in comparison to the strength of your spirit and the power of your mind. And whatever fell over there. And the assets are important because they cannot be foreclosed on by anything except for God's will, age, or your own choices for chemical alterations. The other intangibles that you need to invest in are behavioral attributes. People give opportunities to people that they like. So it's okay to be likable and dependable and reliable. The T is be a good teammate. My grandmother used to say that a fist is stronger than a finger. It denoted the concept that cooperative modeling is both wiser and stronger than rugged individualism. It is important that you are a good teammate to be on great teams that will help with efficiency and scalability. If you show up, invest in the intangibles, and are a good teammate, you will get to sit at the table of opportunities. Now, when you get there, you're going to be looking for your just due, the appropriation and the allocation of food, I like to call it. You're going to want to eat. And if you want to eat at the table of opportunity, you're going to have to be efficient. I've learned over time that time is the key unit of exchange in human interaction. Now, I know I have some friends that are maybe metaphysicists or into quantum mechanics and experience time certainly different than most of us. But most of us experience time in a linear fashion, meaning that when you spend that minute, that hour, it's gone. You can't get it back. Therefore, time is greater than money. It is important that you are efficient with your own time and the time of others. The A is be accountable. Establish clear qualitative and quantitative metrics that you can use to evaluate and be responsible for your choices. The T is to be transparent, to be open and honest with your intents and the information. If you are efficient, if you are accountable, if you are transparent, you will get your just due and eat at the table of opportunity. Now, eating is not enough. We don't do it just simply for the action. And we don't do it just to produce waste. Although at Morris, they might do something with that waste, actually. You actually eat to grow, which is another acronym. Generate real opportunities for wealth. Generate real opportunities for wealth. Generate is an important word in that acronym. Because if you are generating, you will always be in the position of a sustainable asset. Consumption will only get you value to a certain marginal utility, and charity will sometimes rely too heavily on the intent of others. Continue to be focused on what you can generate, what you can create, what you can contribute, what you can give. Does that make sense to all of you? Generative principles are the key to success. And after that generation, you're going to also have to have deep discernment, the ability to differentiate real opportunities from illusion. From my experiences, I have learned that a lot of your time, ideas, and even your money can go into things that seem like an opportunity, but are an illusion. I have come up with kind of 3 key questions that I always ask myself, and I would now give to you to try to determine what is a real opportunity. Number 1, is the opportunity disclosed to you in a time frame that you can capitalize on it? I'll give you an example of what that means. Here's the example, and it's not real, but I'm giving each one of you $100,000. It's not real. But it's in a briefcase in Chicago, and each one of you can only get it yourselves, and you got 15 minutes. See, if I started with, I'm giving each one of you $100,000, then you did cheer. But it's not a real opportunity because you can't capitalize on it in the time frame that it's available. You have to have the opportunity be disclosed to you in a time frame that you can capitalize on it. The second question for discernment: what is the criteria for selection and award? And do you thoroughly understand it? Third, you have to be real with your own analysis of your ability to have the capabilities and capacity to fulfill the obligations associated with the opportunity. If, in fact, you can say yes to all three of these, then go after it with your mind, body, heart, and soul. If you cannot, you should consider an alternative. Does that make sense to you? Now, to generate real opportunities, the final outcome that you want is wealth. And I'm here to tell you that most people, when they hear the word wealth, only equate it to economic outcomes and perspectives. And I totally get that in a capitalistic society that we live in. But my testimony to you this afternoon is to let you know that the financial and economic outcomes are typically a lagging indicator to your stewardship in the other areas of your humanity. Your spiritual health and wealth, your physical health and wealth, your emotional health and wealth, your mental health and wealth are causality pieces to your financial outcomes and the wealth that you want in your life. If you do those things, I guarantee you that you will have all of your financial dreams be met. Now, opportunity is out there, but it sits on the other side typically of challenges and threats. Now, sometimes in life, people have to manufacture those challenges, but you're lucky. You don't have to fabricate challenges in the era of which you are entering. If any of you have read Thomas Friedman's book, Thank You for Being Late, he talks about this being an age of acceleration. I have revised that to say it's actually the convergence of the Fab Five. Number one is demographic shift along the lines of age, race, gender, sexual orientation, and religious belief, which by itself, with the changes that are occurring, would have huge impact socially, economically, and politically. But you take that and stack it with climate change. And I'm not here to talk about the causality of climate change, whether it's God's natural cycle or man-made behavior. But I will tell you this: 62 degrees in February in Minnesota, when it was snowing the same day in California, that's some weird stuff. And so because of that, you should be thinking about its real and existential threat and the cost of disaster recovery and repair. Those two alone would be enough, but then you add to it an interesting financial market that's continuing to change. Fed fund rates have gone up twice already and will go up again before the year is out. Cheap oil, easy money, those may be things of the past and of a different era. Creates new challenges for financing and cost of capital conversations. Add that to the rise of artificial intelligence and its intersection with machine learning and robotics, and calls into very questions of what's the role of the human being and how important is emotional intelligence. And then finally, globalization, markets that are just not interconnected but interdependent, currency valuations, bilateral trade, even cybersecurity issues. All of these things are happening at once, which present great challenges. The opportunities are out there for you, and I am convinced that the class of 2017 in the University of Minnesota at Morris is up to that challenge. So, I wish you all well. Call me if you ever need a job. I don't know if I'll have one, but call me. And I want all of you to sit, eat, and grow your way to reaching your full potential and maximizing your opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi, for those remarks. I now invite Sandy Olson-Loy, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, to the podium to introduce the drum group that will perform the honors song.
Thank you, Chancellor Behr. The Morris campus was founded late in the 19th century by the Sisters of Mercy, an order of Roman Catholic nuns, as a boarding school for American Indian boys and girls. Today, 125 years later, we recognize that history, and we pay tribute to the ways it weaves into our present and our future with the performance of a Native American honor song for the University of Minnesota Morris, class of 2017. We are honored to have with us today the Northern Wind Singers, a highly respected First Nations drum group from the Ojibwe Nation and Lake of the Woods, Ontario. One of the most powerful drum groups on the Powwow Trail today, they have been recognized with North American and Canadian Indigenous Music Awards for Best Powwow Album and Best Traditional Album. Gabriel DeRogier, a graduate of the University of Minnesota Morris and a member of our faculty, is the Northern Wind Singers' lead singer, composer, and keeper of the drum. Gabe holds his Master's of Education with an emphasis in Indigenous language revitalization from the University of Minnesota Duluth, where he is currently pursuing his doctorate in education. His work and the music of the Northern Wind Singers is featured in a number of Indigenous studies and ethnomusicology texts, including The Music of Multicultural America, Performance, Identity, and Community in the United States, and Recording Culture, Powwow Music and the Aboriginal Recording Industry of the Northern Plains, published by Duke University Press. An Anishinaabe-Moan first speaker and leader in Minnesota's Indigenous language revitalization movement, we're very proud to have Gabe teaching the Anishinaabe language and American Indian culture at Morris. As you are able, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats and caps for the Northern Wind Singers and an honor song for the class of 2017.
Yeah.
Thank you, Northern Wind Singers, for honoring our graduates in this way. We now come to the part of the ceremony that you all have been waiting for, conferring degrees upon the members of the graduating class of 2017. I invite our academic dean, Bart Finzel, along with Math and Science Division Chair, Pei Ng, to the podium to read the graduates' names. I invite our student marshals to prepare the candidates, and our division chairs or their designees to come forward to the ramp to add their congratulations to the new graduates. Regent Lucas and Mr. Norman, will you please take your places here on the stage?
Student marshals, please bring the candidates forward.
I have to do right here. Yeah. So.
Christy Perkinson, Liberal Arts for the Human Services, Psychology, Sociology, Spanish, with distinction. Elsa Browning, Computer Science. Lauren Lindquist, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric. Emma Louise Poliat, Sociology. Nate Hansen, Psychology. Kane Bonet, English with distinction with honors. Jesse Rogers, English. Haley Fisher, Studio Art with high distinction. Caitlin Waldera, Studio Art. Bethany Hardenbrook, English. Naomi Ballard, Studio Art. Sophia Yonkin, Latin America Area Studies, Sociology, Spanish. Whitney Buchanan, Elementary Education. Carolyn Fox, Elementary Education. Taylor Nelson, English. Kelsey Yunker, Psychology. Jack Johnson, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric. Ashley Chamino, Management. Bingyu Lu, Management. Nina Lehman, Statistics. Madison Hughes, Anthropology, History with high distinction. Jessica Van Grinsven Eversman, Anthropology. Alexander McDonald, History. Dion Roloff, History. Walter Anfang, History. Renika Jones, Psychology. Alexandra McDougall, Anthropology, Psychology. Colin Ray, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric, Liberal Arts for the Human Services, and Psychology. Bridget Hulls, Anthropology, Spanish with high distinction with honors. Jocelyn Behr, Computer Science, English with distinction. Mary Schuster, Elementary Education. Carrie Haynes, Elementary Education with high distinction. Robin Sorrell, English with high distinction. Sarah Clausen, English. Hannah Inver, English with high distinction. Nicole Lafreniere, American Indian Studies, Sociology, Psychology, Liberal Arts for the Human Services. Elaine Crocker, Sociology, Human Services. Matthew Eba, German Studies, Economics, Management. Evan Smith, Sociology. Tyler Goodry, Biology. Chase Glomstead, History, German Studies. Katie Schwartz, Sociology. Anthony Lee Yang, Psychology. Taylor Native Yang, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric, Sociology. Ruth Malmo, Biology. Sajarida Abade Lamiskin, Biology. Joya Dedeji, Statistics. Deja Carson, Elementary Education. Henry Kniezel, English. Gabriella Wilkie, English with high distinction.
Megan Schrader, Anthropology, French. Jay Voku, English. Lynn Egler, English, French, Area of Concentration, Medieval Studies. Megan Ann Jacobson, Political Science, Economics with distinction. Amy Rebecca Kula, Elementary Education, Psychology with distinction. Alex Anderson, Economics. Benjamin Bryce Lee, Management, Financial and Organizational Management. Mackenzie Ferguson, Mathematics. Lars Roger Johnson, Social Science. Sydney Day McAdam, Elementary Education. Carly Dandler, Biology, Chemistry, Biochemistry. Brittany Grady, English, German Studies, Area of Concentration, Medieval Studies with honors. Madeline Joachim, Chemistry, Biochemistry with distinction. Hannah Morris, Biology. Austin Keith Peterson, Biology. Jacob Porter, Environmental Science, Biology. Madison Grafning, English. Katerina Thorson, English. Tess Magnus, Elementary Education. Kaya Lillian Renz, Elementary Education. Sydney Paulson, Elementary Education. Brittany Farian, Physics. Madeline Burkhardt, Psychology. Sophia Durbis, English. Keisha Wallace, English. Rachel Lynn Brokem, Environmental Science with Distinction. Ursula Lundberg Grilko, American Indian Studies, English. Mary Kay Falstrom, American Indian Studies. Emily Jean Darko Guerrero, Human Services, Human Development. Bree McCannon Asleson, Human Services, Human Development. Nicole May Palmer, Psychology, Human Services, General Area of Concentration, Disability Service Issues and Advocacy, with high distinction, with honors. Kyle Petermeyer, Elementary Education. Dylan Erickson, Sport Management. Chandler Erickson, Sport Management. Evan Ellingsworth, Biology. Jordan Strachan, Biology. Connor Spindler, Management, Financial and Organizational Management. Dani Webenkamp, Management, Financial and Organizational Management. Michael Dockendorf, Sport Management. Mitch Reller, Statistics. Megan Anderson, Area of Concentration, Health Sciences. Megan Pomeroy, Area of Concentration, Exercise Science with honors. Timothy James Spillman, English. Catherine Taylor Johnson, History, German Studies. Andrea Elizabeth Wald, Biology. Catherine Janelle Lewis, English. Jacqueline Morgan, English. Alexandria Ash, English, Psychology. Margaret Flanner, Communications, Media and Rhetoric. Allison Lindsay Bean, Communication, Media and Rhetoric, English, Creative Writing with Distinction. Madeline River Lerner, Political Science. Erin Elizabeth Lee, Chemistry, Biochemistry. Charles Peters, Biology. Ryan Matthew MacArthur, Computer Science. Robert Perry Meyer, Elementary Education.
Marcus Lajavin, Geology. Sonia Meyer, Biology. Ryan Lynch, Psychology. Tia Volkers, Elementary Education. Hannah Gassaway, Biology. Kayla Kranitz, Psychology, Area of Concentration, Biomedical Sciences. Erica Willinga, Area of Concentration, Therapeutic Aspects of Art. Samantha Shade, Anthropology, Liberal Arts for the Human Services, Psychology with Distinction. Samuel Miller, Computer Science. Daniel Frazier, Computer Science with high distinction. Sky Antonozzi, Computer Science. Emma Sachs, Computer Science with high distinction. Anthony Fisher, Sport Management. Tyler Euckelberg, Area of Concentration, Exercise Science. John Hausman, Chemistry with high distinction. Abigail Huber, Geology. Isabella Hauk, Biology. Christopher Rauch, Geology. Taylor Vetch, Economics and Management. Savannah Leisman, Anthropology with distinction. Haley Gill, Environmental Science, Biology. Theo Bizey, Environmental Studies. Robert Thurston, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric. Andrew Krowski, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric. Matthew Fischbach, Chemistry. Carly Swanson, Management. Ethan Klee, Studio Art. Rebecca Jean Reedy Shurup, Geology, Environmental Science. Spencer Walton, Music and Secondary Education. Nicholas Griffiths, Statistics and Economics. Elijah Bodine, Music, Secondary Education. Wen Gu, Economics. Kayla Lehman, Management, Area of Concentration, Farmland Drainage Management. Draria Pakutnya, Biology. Abby Malik, Biology with Distinction. Kristen Hansen, Psychology, Statistics with Honors. Abigail Dene, Mathematics, Statistics. Biran Fan, Economics and Management. Kristen Stivers, Elementary Education. Claire Pitleck, Psychology. Tori Brewer, Biology. Margareta Navikson, Chemistry. Natasha Bloomberg, Chemistry, Environmental Science with high distinction. Louis Konish, English, Secondary Education. Sorry. Colette Mathilde Millard, Environmental Studies. Addison Schnabel, Spanish, Secondary Education.
Claire Adamski, Biology. Zoey N. Cook, Music, Art History, American Indian Studies. Sarah Qualley, Psychology, Management, Financial and Organizational Management with Honors. Katherine Ledermann, Environmental Studies, Management, Financial and Organizational Management. Clara Colbinger, Management, Financial and Organizational Management, Area of Concentration in Dance. Megan Renee Rollins, Biology. Tori Jordan, Biology. Raina Elizabeth Moeller, English Creative Writing. Renee Shong, Liberal Arts for the Human Services, Sociology. Mao Cheng, Liberal Arts for the Human Services, Sociology. Cheng Song, Biology. Richard Stengel, Computer Science. Jack Peter Ziegler, Computer Science. John Lynch, Computer Science. Matthew Kangas, Computer Science. Joseph Talon, Computer Science. Thomas Hagen, Computer Science. Miles Gavick, Computer Science. Teresa Ann Macaulay, Gender, Women and Sexuality Studies, Theater Arts. Natalie Louise Pope, English, Gender and Women and Sexuality Studies with Distinction. Jennifer Jean Fisk, Management, Financial and Organizational Management with high distinction. Danielle Tilly Olson, Economics. Alicia Shu, Management, Financial and Organizational Management. Catherine Ann Evenson, Psychology, Studio Art with high distinction. Marcella Louise Allred Prince, English Creative Writing with Distinction with Honors. Nicholas Joseph Hermosa, Psychology. Jacob Mitchell, Computer Science. Michael Orkison, Sport Management. Amos Otto Markle, Computer Science. Chalmer Kombalik, American Indian Studies, History, Environmental Studies. Jesse Philip Eklund, Economics, Statistics with High Distinction. Alexander Pia Mahunt, Communications, Media, and Rhetoric. Anne Francis Moore, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric with High Distinction. Mitchell Forney, Political Science. Thomas Rush Siegel, Political Science. Hunter Christian Sassor, English. Maria Matlin, Psychology with High Distinction with Honors. Keenan Matthew Cashin Smart, Liberal Arts for Human Services, Psychology, and Sociology. Hannah Tuomi, Environmental Studies with Distinction. Praloy Hollingsworth Carlson, Biology, Chemistry, Biochemistry. Duong Hong T. Sun Win, Biology. Shelby Catherine Flanagan, English, Psychology with Distinction. Amy Lamb, Psychology, English. Hannah Gorman, Chemistry, Biochemistry with Distinction. Calvin Lee Sika, Chemistry, Biochemistry with High Distinction. Brennan Bassett, Communication, Media, and Rhetoric, Theater Arts. Kelly Fisher, Environmental Science. Eric John DeMitt, Theater Arts. Mitchell Damon Finzel, Computer Science. Erin K. Spry, Geology. Andrew John Carollo, Environmental Science. Chelsea Brooke Klingbeil, Biology.
Gabriella Hedberg, Anthropology. Tana Boyle, Sport Management. Kemma Berglund, Psychology. Jillian Burns, Elementary Education. Audrey Blamo, Psychology. Natalie Ahrens, Elementary Education. Yuting Xiao, Computer Science with Distinction. Junko Otuka, Political Science. Myung Jae Song, Computer Science with High Distinction. Brandy Wynn, Management. Neho Murakami, Management. Yuri Kohata, Anthropology. Jessica Oh, Environmental Studies. Jae-yoon Song, Elementary Education. Chung-yoon Park, Statistics. Seung-yong Hwang, Economics and Management. Jin-Hwang Kim, Mathematics. Antonio Franklin, Political Science. Drew Rainey, Political Science. Carrie Erickson, Elementary Education with High Distinction. Molly Nicole Paul, Elementary Education. Chantel Shepard, Elementary Education. Brandon Davies, Chemistry. Victoria Green, Latin America Area Studies, Political Science. Nathan Bean, political science with high distinction. Deborah Holdvolt, English, communication, media, and rhetoric. Matthew Robert Kelly, chemistry. Joseph Melby, mathematics with high distinction. Michelle Dennison, biology, environmental studies. Katie Vosberg, environmental science. Anna Wilger, anthropology. Anna McCumber, mathematics. Francis Reed, environmental science. Zachary Diamond Midnight, environmental studies. Allison Robertson, psychology. Rose Miller, liberal arts for the human services, psychology. Tian Yu Lu, economics and management. Joey Dai, economics and management. Jia Ying Gu, psychology. Gong Gu, economics. Cheng Yu Wang, management. Hao Yun Ju, economics. Chi Gu, management. Xiao Jun He, economics. Xin Yan, economics. Lia Xin Jia, statistics. Yukai Gay, management. Cecilia Bu, art history, psychology, studio art. Evelyn Tan, economics, management. Astha Bandari, gender, women, and sexuality studies. Suzanne Coleman, chemistry. Jacob Sturtevant, chemistry. Whitney Adrian, chemistry. Elizabeth Lewis, chemistry. Taylor Montbriand, liberal arts for the human services, psychology, sociology. Daniel Dorr, Jr., biology. Haley Jensvold, human services, psychology with distinction. Grace Robertson, psychology. Catherine Clark, Spanish, geology with distinction. Emily Moore, environmental science, physics. Justin Tapper, Spanish, management. Cedric Jimenez, chemistry. Austin LeBrun, liberal arts for the human services, psychology. Matthew LaRoque, liberal arts for the human services, psychology. Austin Keller, mathematics. Tonya Bazera, liberal arts for the human services. Claire Jones, geology. Medora Dungan, biology. Sophie Bishop, environmental science. Thomas Jens Burns, biology. Andrew Johnson, English. Darren Kircht, English. Christina Allen, biology. Ashley Christie, liberal arts for the human services, psychology. Samantha K. Dalkey, psychology. Maggie Ellenson, psychology.
Melinda Claire Wolney, Psychology, Spanish. Hamza Said Haider, Computer Science, Mathematics, Statistics with distinction. Sean Stephen Seymour, Computer Science with distinction. Kyle Hakala, Computer Science. David Michael Armstrong, Psychology. Dahlia Whiting, Environmental Science. Audrey Chandrine Villeneuve, French Political Science. Kari Gibro, Social Science, Secondary Education. Taylor Nicole Rabb, Biology. Jamal Clinton Cummings, Sport Management. Aaron Wyatt Will, Sport Management. Lane Michael Quick, Biology. Marissa Isabel Krause, Liberal Arts for the Human Services. Joey Hyde, Elementary Education. Kenzie Jehoig, Psychology. Jordan R. Halverson, Sport Management, Area of Concentration, Exercise Science. Evan Guffey, Sport Management. Michael Lee Engler, Sport Management. Nicholas Hornier, English. Amanda Ratke, Psychology. Zach Hemans, English Creative Writing. Jeff Axelson, Social Science History. I. Sano, Psychology, Computer Science with high distinction. Amber Campo, Liberal Arts for the Human Services. Bobby Hadjo, Psychology. Angel Her, Human Services, General Psychology. Meng Xiong, Sociology, Statistics. Anne Michelle Turnus, Biology, Music. Amanda Elaine Hadinsky, Spanish, Secondary Education with distinction and with honors. John Matthew Tiernan, Elementary Education. Tori Ann Holt, Spanish, Secondary Education. Kaylee Marina Tiernan, Psychology. Kelsey Margaret Fisher, Biology, Psychology. Justin Terry, Psychology. Brianna Duchuk, Biology. Jeremy Slonaker, Biology, Psychology. Jordan Lee Miller, Biology. Megan Hebert, Biology, Psychology. Jordan Alexander Schroeder, Sport Management. Clayton Duvier, Sociology. Emily Nicole Lieb, Biology. Alyssa Berquam, Psychology. Can you please give a warm round of applause to all our graduates again? Thank you.
All right. I don't think this is on. Would the graduates please stand at this time? Upon recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the Board of Regents of the University of Minnesota, and with the completion of all remaining degree requirements, I now confer upon you the degrees for which you have qualified. Please join me in acknowledging their achievements, everybody.
Graduates, if you haven't already done so, please move your tassels from the right to the left side. It is now my pleasure to introduce Amy Dahl-Wallers. Amy is a graduate of UMM's class of 1990 and serves as the president of the UMM Alumni Board. She sets the bar high for all our recent graduates, and she will now greet our new alumni.
Welcome, alumni. Once upon a time. Those are words that I'm certain most of you have heard before. It's a time-honored phrase used to alert a reader or a listener that a story is about to begin. We all have stories to tell, and I would like to take just a moment, I promise you, to share with you why your stories matter. I have heard it said that good storytelling is an art. I think some people are born with the ability, and others learn through experience how to describe a situation in a way that connects with the listener. And I have to admit, I'm not a very good storyteller, but I do appreciate the significance of storytelling. I grew up with a father who was good at telling stories. I remember as a child watching and listening as my dad and his siblings would sit around the table at holidays, laughing and reliving the adventures of their youth. When I first started dating my now husband, Donnie, one of the things that I enjoyed the most was going camping with his family and friends, crowded around the campfire at night, listening to the same stories over and over. The tales of adventure and mishaps, and I have to admit, some pretty bad behavior, brought us all together, closer, laughing and joking. As I journeyed through my school and into a career as a lawyer, I developed a deeper appreciation for storytelling. Storytelling can help you develop new friendships. It can help you connect with a prospective employer, or it can instill your morals and beliefs in your children. The stories don't have to be long to have impact. I can recall one time when I was trying a jury here in town, a jury trial, and we had presented all of the evidence to the jury, and we were taking a lunch break. Now, I had butterflies in my stomach, so I wasn't going to go and eat, but I decided I needed something to drink. So I drove down to Dairy Queen, and I pulled up to the drive-in window, and I said, "Hi, I'd like a medium Coke, please." And the guy on the intercom says, "Would you like something to drink with that?" I laughed. I said, "No, that's okay. Just the Coke will be fine." When I returned to my closing argument, I used that little exchange as an example of how we sometimes become so routine in our actions that we no longer pay attention to what is going on around us. It related to the trial because that was my argument explaining why the defendant had failed to stop at the stop sign. The jury appreciated the story and understood the lesson that I was trying to convey. A good story doesn't have to be funny. It doesn't have to involve some grand adventure. One of my favorite stories from my father relates to a very simple occurrence. He had joined the Navy at 16 years old and had finished his basic training and was getting ready to go off to Korea to fight in the war. But he decided he was going to go home to Dumont for a while. Dumont's a little community. Everyone knows everyone. And I'll tell you the story that he tells, more from my perspective. He was at home in the morning and he woke up. He heard a noise outside. It was a car driving up the gravel road. It pulled up to the front and stopped. And someone got out, walked up to the front of the house and knocked at the door. He heard his dad downstairs walk to the door and open it. And then the sheriff said to his dad, "Hello, Ben, how are you doing?" And his dad said, "Well, pretty good, Sheriff. What can I do for you?" And the sheriff said, "Well, Ben, I heard your son's at home." And his dad said, "Yes, he's at home." He said, "Well, Ben, you know, he's supposed to be in the Navy." And his dad said, "Well, I know, Sheriff, but he was a little homesick and he thought he'd come home for a visit." And my dad was laying in the bed upstairs, and it suddenly occurred to him how serious this was, that he was basically AWOL, which was really a very serious offense. And he waited to see what the sheriff would do. And the sheriff thought about it for a moment and finally said, "Well, Ben, I tell you what, will you make sure and see that your son gets back to the Navy?" And his dad said, "Yeah, that's no problem. I'll make sure he goes back as soon as he's done with his visit. And with that, the sheriff turned around, walked back to his car, and drove away. I can't tell that story as good as my dad, but of course for him that's a personal story. It's based on a feeling inside of him that he shares with me. But what I hear in that story is a man who was young and scared and needed family, and a sheriff that could have arrested him for being AWOL, but instead showed compassion and left him alone. When I hear that story, I can feel myself transported to that moment in time and share in one of my dad's memories. We all have stories like that, some good and some bad, our own personal moments that talk about who we are. Your stories are still being written. You are only a few chapters into them. You have the story of your childhood, you have the story of your college years, and now you are ready to continue on with your stories, to fill every page that you can. As you go forward, I hope you will take the time to develop your own storytelling abilities and to share what you learn, where you go, and who you are. Share your stories frequently with many people. And as the president of the University of Minnesota Morris Alumni Association, I'd like to personally invite you to return to the Morris campus as often as possible to bring back your stories to share with the campus, with the next generation, and with your new fellow alumni. Congratulations on your graduation, and may you all live happily ever after.
Congratulations to all of the graduates and your families. Commencement marks a time of transition. All of you graduates will go on to new and exciting adventures in your lives. UMM has prepared you to be thoughtful, adaptive, and engaged citizens of your communities and of the world. We know you are destined for great things and hope only that you'll keep us informed of all the fantastic accomplishments that lie ahead for each and every one of you. We invite you to join us for cake and coffee in Oyate Hall in the Student Center, and we please ask that the audience remain at their seats until all the students, faculty, and platform party members have departed. Thank you.
jam man.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
Both have
nice.
that trait. It's a fun thing to do. Yeah, so, but nice summer, say hi to you.
Yeah, so it's nice to see you.
Take care.
All the best.